Greetings, YouTube. Danny Staten here. And I guess you're watching the Daily Dan blog, but you're also maybe watching Fat Comic Book Guy, because I'll probably put this video up on both channels because it's just going to be that darn good. Yes, it's true. Today I'm taking a look at UFOs and flying saucers. Number 2 from 1970. I love the UFOs and flying saucer comic books put out by Gold Key. They started in 1969, and once a year, they put out a UFO and flying saucers edition. This one I'm looking at here with this incredibly cool cover, and I know that Unidentified S4, the UFO guy, would really like this. You should check out Unidentified S4 on YouTube if you're into UFOs. And moving right along. So once a year, they put out one of these. I've only got 2. This one is number 2, but I also have a number 4. Yeah, I have a number 4 from 1974, which I'll be putting in a brand new piece of plastic later today. Oh, I hate this. And this number 4 was from the 1974, the yearly edition. And it's one of my favorites. It's one of the ones I actually had when I was a little kid. So to recapture this book later on meant a lot to me. You can see a full review on this book on the Daily Dan blog in the playlist under comic books, rare comic books. But back to the main show. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed because the part where the price was, where we should say like 20 cents on this one, maybe even 15 cents is missing. The comic book's in really bad shape, but it's also the only number 2 UFOs and flying saucers I've ever been able to find in my whole life. So let's get it open and see what kind of mysteries the UFOs have for us today. Real quickly, inside the front cover, you could order some really stupid mugs for 75 cents. Oh, that just look horrible. And the very first story in our UFOs and Flying Saucers book is UFOs on the moon. What? UFOs on the moon? Our astronauts encounter UFOs on the moon. Now, this came out in 1970. Do you get the feeling that somebody might have leaked something? Hey, this gives me a flashback. Yesterday, I was going through a box of stuff that I'd had stored at my mom's when she passed away, and I got a bunch of boxes and threw them in a closet and never went through them. And I was going through them, and I found a book I had when I was a little bitty youngin'. Check this out. Yeah, you want to know what kind of kid I was as I look back? This wonderfully cool book about the moon being hollow and there could be other astronauts in it. Sound familiar? This come out in 1976. I probably got it in 1977 for Christmas. And this is the kind of stuff Daily Dan was reading back when I was a kid. And I recommend if you ever see a copy of this book, you pick it up. It's got lots of pictures for you young people. All about the moon and stuff you can find on the moon and stuff hidden on the moon. It's a very interesting read. So Info Panels brought to you by the Daily Dan blog and the Fat Comic Book Guy. Our astronauts are floating around the moon. Our astronauts are seeing some weird stuff. Our astronauts are saying, we're not alone out here. And it's some really cool art and some well-drawn pictures from 1970. We see the capsule, the lunar orbiter, the great American triumph. And yes, it's real. We went to space. And really quickly, we found stuff in space. There's UFOs out there. We're not alone. And, oh my God, look at this. The end. We can't tell you nothing else. Well, really? Really? You did that? Okay, it's a comic book. We move on. Panic over Mexico. We're going to find out the tale of Mexican UFOs. Them things have been buzzing Mexico since the 1910s, right? And this is so hilarious. Mexicans see UFOs. Mexicans talk about it. Mexicans report it. Story over. Whack! UFOs invade our seas as we find out about Shag Harbor, Pearl Harbor, and Bat Harbor. That's right. UFOs supposedly crashed in Shag Harbor. I'm sure Unidentified S4 could fill you in on that story if you go over to his channel and check him out. And this will be a good time to tell you, check out my friend Eric on the Paranormal Highway, because this is his kind of stuff. This ain't exactly what I'd call one of my regular good stuff reviews, but I gotta call out the paranormal channels like Arden Paranormal. I gotta call everybody out in this one, right? As we see UFOs doing that V formation, headed into the ocean, doing the deep dive, freaking out the sailors, yep. Full, wonderful UFO panels brought to you by the Daily Damn Blog. I bet my UFO buddies are enjoying watching these people dive on it, watching the captain search for it, watching the UFO rise out of the ocean and dip back in, watching a ghostly glow, a cosmic figure appear like a giant shell in the ocean with a clink and a clank and a clack. And it's rising out the ocean and it's turning waves and shaking up ships and flying away at the speed of light. It just went whoosh. It went whoosh so fast people on the island over yonder are 100 miles away, so it go whoosh. And the Navy was just dumbfounded. Navy don't like that stuff when they get dumbfounded. And the Admiral says, fire a missile at that bad boy. So the Admiral fires a missile and a couple of fishermen taking a fish. Taking a fish? They were taking a fish. Sees the missile buzz through the air, but the missile just explodes right before it hits whatever the hell this thing's supposed to be. Yeah, it's floating there, and suddenly two fishermen see the UFO come to a stop. And the UFO is sucking up the water with the fish. Like, go a starfish up in there. I wonder if that's symbolic. Anyway, the UFO's getting him some water and apparently a fish dinner while two fishermen look on in awe. So in the full panels brought to you by the Daily Damn Blog and the Fat Comic Guy, Fat blah, 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 Fat Comic Book Guy, you see the Navy searching. You see the Navy diving on the spot. You see the Navy in constant confusion as they always are. This book come from 1970, but yet you see submarines, military people, captains of the ship all looking for flying saucers in and out the water, talking about how fast they fly, and messages from headquarters about the UFO. Oh my goodness. In 2023, as I record this, I feel that some things have not changed much. He spots the UFO. They're trying to catch the UFO, and the UFO dips. And the UFO actually fires some kind of beam at the submarine, and oh my God, what's going to happen? And that's time for a commercial. Because it's a Go Geek comic book, not a Disney comic book. You're going to get some commercials, and then you find out how to stalk women at the office in this office machine operator thing. I'm not even reading this. Or you can be a geologist and dig a hole and look for oil. This is all about your future, bitches. And the keys of knowledge says, your future looks bleak. You could wind up on an old sailing ship doing some whaling in the 19th century. That's right, I'm going to sail and kill a whale. Oh, that's so exciting. Learn about killing whales back in the day. We got the whale, and that whale is smoking. What the hell? Why is the whale smoking? Oh, it's blowing water out of his hole. And some girl on shore celebrates because she's going to make all the whalers money by giving them some what? Beep. And stamp and coin collections you could have back in 1970. I'll roll through this pretty slow, so Michael Marone can take his little 5 minutes to pause for the cause and read all about these here stamps and coins back in 1970. As I give my friend Pat McCormick at the Golden Ranger TV a big shout out. Be sure to check out Pat McCormick at the Golden Ranger TV. And of course, my brother in arms, Dave Sunstorm. Be sure to check out Dave Sunstorm on YouTube and his brother Steven Sunstorm. The Good Stuff Brothers. And of course, my ever popular, my incredible brother in arms, Thrash Pondo Ponds. Be sure to check him out because he'll fill you in on all the happy games. And speaking of happy games, be sure to check out Ian over at Retro Serial. He has a pretty interesting show on Monday nights. Yeah, even though I usually go back and forth between him and wrestling because he won't put his show on the same time wrestling's on. Not a good move. Well, anyway, 39 happy games you could have had back in. I had this shit. I really, really had this. And it was horrible and it was cheap. But it was fun. Hours and hours of fun as UFOs invade Russia. Didn't they just shoot one down last week? I swear this comic book is so up to date. And here we go as UFOs come down over Russia. They're bothering Kapustin Yar. And so this goofy scientist is going to fill the other scientists in on the realisms of UFOs in Russia, apparently. And I'm not so sure about this, but apparently back in 1908, a UFO come whooshing in and blowed up. in Tunguska. Oh, and that was proved that was a UFO, by the way. Some people think that might have been a meteor, but we'll go on with it. And then they find these discs in China called the Roper disc, with all these writings on them that tells a story about some spaceship aliens who come down from space, some little midget-looking aliens who got stranded on Earth and left their little mark everywhere, telling about we come from space on our Dropa stones. I've heard that story before too. And then they're going to show all them really cool statues they found up there in Russia. And they're going to say, hey, these are like aliens at one time. We found this one in South America. We know this is a statue of an alien. It's a lizard man, as Hucklefish would say. And then we get this story about this UFO that buzzed these tanks over in Russia and it got shot down. And they said, all right, we got one. And they put it in this little building. And they get it all locked up. And guess what? There's a war going on, and Americans come by and drop a bomb on it and blow it all to pieces, and they lost their evidence. What? Oh, I'm sorry. It was the Nazis that blowed it up. That's how the Russians lost their evidence. Okay, whatever. And as usual, sorry guys, all evidence is lost as the UFOs fly away being chased by a Russian MiG. General, one day we will get to the bottom of this. One day we will capture them. Yes, it's true. What great art in this old book. I really love it. It's a wonderful old comic book. And now for the coup de grace. Hey, this is why I love this comic book. That's why even with its crappy condition, I'm going to hang it on the wall. Because it's actually got snowmen from the sky. That's right, it's the mountains. It's a Yeti. We seeing UFOs in the mountains. That looks like a Native American there, don't it? Yeah, okay. Snowmen from the sky with Native Americans. This is going to get interesting. Cowboys and Indians see a spaceship crash. You know, earlier, as I show you full panels brought to you by the Daily Dan Blog and the Fat Comic Book Guy. Earlier, when I looked through this book, I would have swore I'm having a Mandela effect that this stuff took place in Tibet mostly. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, the Native Americans and Indian and Cowboys saw it crash. Apparently, they saw it crash from a long ways away. They going down everywhere. Because over here, Daniel Boone done saw one crash somewhere. Look at that. Ah, it's going down over here, too. And even in China, they saw one crash. And one went down over there, and the Buddhist monks were like tripping. What the hell? UFOs are falling from the sky everywhere in this comic book. Notice that when this one crashed, they found giant footprints leading away. Now that could be interesting. It was at this point the two goose realized that this 15-foot giant snowman thing that had come out of that spaceship is standing behind them. And they are tripping as it's stalking them. They run for their dear life. Another spaceship in the distance, it must be looking for that one that crashed, goes zooming by. And they experienced another loud thud. This is back when it crashed, I suppose. Oh, wait, the second ship went down. What is it with these UFOs? Crash. I done seen 6 UFOs crash in the last 4 minutes in this comic book all over the world. And this one had a giant Yeti come out of it. And Yeti's running through the woods like Bigfoot from the $6 million man. He's snatching him up, gonna throw him like he's Jeff. Oh, God. No, that's Jeff down here, and that's his buddy. I'm just kidding, Jeff. Don't take that seriously. But anyway, check this out. The giant Bigfoot is breaking this guy's back. That's cruel. So after killing the heck out of everywhere, Bigfoot, the hairy creature, the Yeti, runs off in the woods while everybody else is dead. And we get this tale of how they came to Earth. Their ship crashed. And now they is hairy giants trapped on the planet Earth. But that's okay. Somewhere over California, another one is coming looking for his brother. And that is crazy because in Tibet, in Turkey, the UFO had crashed. The abominable snowman or the Bigfoots are loose on the world. And now Chewbacca's coming to save them. Oh boy, I love this comic book. This is one of the best damn comic books I ever looked through in my life. I like the art in it. The art in it's great. And I have to say the stories were better than average. A little bit better than average because it's UFOs and stuff, right? You get these mini comics now, and they just, I'm not, oh my God. Why even put these in a book? You could have put an ad in there and got away with more than this. And we finished it up with the tale of the sea monster. It's probably trying to sell you some, whatever, vitamins, what? I don't know what that is, but they're trying to sell it to you here, and you can play that game, won some prizes, and it sucked when you sold some seeds. And another back cover wasted by Gold Key. That's my look at UFOs and flying saucers, number 2 from 1970. The book's not in great shape. It's really old. I'm lucky that it exists, but it's really cool. I love the UFOs and flying saucer books. This is only the second one I've ever had in my life. It's cool that it's number 2. I want the whole set, actually, like I do the Dark Shadows or Star Trek's originals. I really want the whole set of these. I'll be endeavoring to find another good copy of this one and the whole set one day, I hope. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And Anthony at Unidentified S4, I dedicate this book, I dedicate this video to you, brother, because I know you like the UFOs and flying saucer comic book stuff. And by the way, I do have something I'm going to send you pretty soon. I just want to make a video about it first. I'm way behind, and as you can tell, the making of this video by my voice and my stuttering and whatever, I'm not feeling too good this week. I've been a little under the weather, but I'm endeavoring to get my business done. I'm endeavoring to get these videos out, and I want to tell everybody thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that stupid little bell for me. And until next time, this is Danny Staten, Daily Dan, on the Daily Dan blog, or the Fat Comic Book Guy, whichever one you're watching. Till next time, blog over, dudes.